Have you ever felt like you and she were really getting along, but then one day she starts pulling away? No more proactive messages, no more warm smiles. She gradually disappears like smoke. You might think, maybe I'm just too old. But the truth isn't about age. It's because of 6 common behaviors that older men often unknowingly do, which make younger women lose interest completely. In today's video, I will break down each of these with real-life examples, actionable advice, and most importantly, how to apply Stoic wisdom from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to become the calm, attractive man who's hard to replace. 1. Trying to impress equals pushing her away. Why does trying to impress actually make women lose interest? When entering a relationship with younger women, many men feel like they need to have something special to make up for the age gap. So they start talking about their illustrious career, international business trips, high-class connections, overcoming hardships like a hero. It might sound captivating, but in reality, it makes women feel like they're being sold something. It's not that this information isn't good, it's that the energy behind it says, I'm trying to prove my value because I'm afraid you won't see it. And that's what kills the attraction. Young women are drawn to authenticity, not to trying to be impressive. True qualities never need to be advertised. A man of value is one who doesn't need to be acknowledged. A man who is calm and content with himself doesn't seek validation from others. He doesn't need to show off because his life, his presence, and how he handles things speak for themselves. 2 types of men. Which one is more attractive? Man A, trying to impress. He meets the young woman and says, I worked as a manager in Singapore for 5 years. At one point, I managed 200 people. Have you heard of XYZ Corporation? After hearing this, she thinks, well, it's okay, but it feels like an interview. Man B, calm. He meets the young woman, simply smiles, and asks her questions first. When she curiously asks, what did you do before? He replies briefly, I worked in HR, learned a lot, but now I'm focusing on living a bit slower. It's his humility, gentleness, and lack of boasting that makes her want to know more. She will think, this man has something very solid about him. How to shift from trying to impress to making an emotional impact. 1. Don't proactively talk about your achievements. Real success should be discovered, not narrated. Let her feel it through your conversations, how you live, and how you handle challenges. 2. Shift from showing off to being present. Women don't remember what you said. They remember how they felt around you. When you're there, listening, calm eyes, confident voice, you exude a natural attraction that words can't replace. 3. Practice deep silence. Don't be afraid of pauses in the conversation. Epictetus emphasized, the silence of the wise man is more fearsome than the words of the fool. Let your silence show confidence, not awkwardness. Become the man who doesn't need to win the conversation, but wins through emotions. Women may be attracted by words at first, but they stay for the vibe. And that vibe comes not from recounting past glories, but from how deeply you live in the present. 4. Older men, don't become the teacher in her eyes. You know what? One of the most common reasons young women quietly pull away from older men, it's not because you're not handsome or because you haven't achieved success. It's because you've turned yourself into a strict teacher rather than an empathetic companion. It starts well, but it unintentionally turns into something worse. When you've gone through enough ups and downs in life, you have experiences, deep perspectives, and valuable lessons. And you want to share them as a way of showing care, protecting the woman you care about. But the problem is, women don't date you to go to school. They don't need someone who corrects them every day. They need someone who can sit next to them in the chaos without trying to fix it. 5 signs you're becoming a teacher instead of a lover. 1. You constantly give advice even when she hasn't asked. 2. You react immediately with judgment instead of asking questions. 3. You often say, "I've been through this. You won't understand. You'll see I'm right." 4. You think she needs to learn from you rather than you learning from her. 5. You gradually stop listening and only wait for your turn to talk. At first, she might admire you. She sees you as mature, wise, and deep. But over time, she starts feeling trapped. She's losing her sense of self. Every time she opens up, she gets a life lesson instead of comfort. Every time she shares her sadness, she gets analyzed and corrected instead of being held and understood. Then, one day, she stops sharing. She stops opening up. And you wonder, why is she pulling away? The truth is, she's not leaving because you're wrong, but because you're no longer with her. You're standing above her, and that kills the connection. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen more than we speak." And Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A strong person doesn't need to correct others, but inspires through their calmness." In other words, a grounded man doesn't need to direct the conversation. He listens with his heart, not just his ears. He shares his experiences, not his judgments. How to go from the teacher to the companion. 1. Ask before advising. When she talks about something that bothers her, don't rush to give advice. Ask, "Do you want me to just listen, or do you want my thoughts?" A simple question, but it shows profound respect. 2. Tell stories instead of giving lectures. Don't say, "I think you're wrong." Say, "I used to think like you, but after something happened, I realized something different." She doesn't need you to guide her. She needs you to walk alongside her. 3. Respect differences in perspective. Don't try to fix everything she says is wrong. Sometimes, all she needs is a nod, a simple, "I understand." 4. Make her feel empowered in the relationship. When she feels that you respect her intelligence, emotions, and choices, she will respect you as a real man. A real-life example to make it clearer with the same situation, 2 different responses. I'm tired of being sabotaged by a colleague. Teacher response. You need to learn to be tougher. Don't let anyone bully you. I went through this and I did XYZ. It sounds right, but it makes her feel weak, immature. Companion response. I understand that feeling. I've been backstabbed by a colleague too. I was furious. Want to talk more about it? She will feel safe. She'll feel heard. And the magical thing is, the emotional connection will be deeper than any advice could provide. Young women don't pull away because you're not smart enough. They pull away when you no longer make them feel like they can be themselves. You don't need to be a teacher. You just need to be the man who's deep enough to sit beside her, listen, and walk with her. You meet a young woman. She's smart, charming, and has a positive energy that makes you feel younger. Every date is a dopamine rush. Every text from her is a sweet cut to your heart that you thought had become numb. But then, one day, she doesn't reply to your message immediately. Another day, you see her post a picture at a bar with friends, and there are some young guys wearing white shirts. And inside you, a feeling creeps in, jealousy. Why are older men more prone to fall into this silent trap of jealousy? At 50 or 60, you've been through a lot of hurt. You've been betrayed. You've invested in the wrong person. You've been overlooked, even though you gave so much. And now, when a young woman enters your life, it's not just happiness you feel. You feel like you have too much to lose. And the more you have to lose, the greater the fear. Jealousy, not because she's bad, but because inside we haven't healed yet. Stoicism teaches, no one can hurt you unless you allow it in your mind. Marcus Aurelius also wrote, all pain comes from within. If your mind is strong, the world outside cannot touch you. Jealousy is a natural reflex, but reacting to it is a choice. Many men think, I'm jealous because I love you. No, I'm jealous because deep inside, I'm not sure I deserve you. Signs of jealousy aren't always obvious. Does he check her messages? Does he ask too many questions? Who are you with? What time will you be home? Does he sigh when he sees her post a picture in a tight dress? No need for shouting or outbursts of jealousy. Just a few small signs like that can make her feel suffocated. And once she feels confined, she's no longer herself. And when a woman can't be herself, she won't be able to love anyone with her whole heart. Young women don't leave because they're immature. They leave because they feel suspected. They want a man mature enough to understand that a woman can be beautiful, she can be noticed, but what matters is who she chooses to stay with. And the man they choose is never the jealous one. He is the one calm enough to make her feel safe in his presence. So how do you control jealousy? Step 1. Face your fears directly. Jealousy isn't the problem if you can name it. Are you afraid of being compared? Are you afraid of losing out because of your age, appearance, or energy? Are you afraid she'll choose someone younger, better? Write it down. Read it out loud. When the fear is named, it no longer controls you. Step 2. Build self-worth from the ground up. A man who no longer feels jealousy is the one who doesn't need to hold on tightly. Because he knows, if she leaves, it's okay. He is still himself. At this point, he begins working out to keep his body healthy, reading books, journaling, learning new things, developing his career or personal projects, spending time with his children, friends, and community. He has his own world, so he's not afraid of getting pulled into someone else's. Step 3. Communicate with women from a place of grounded energy without fear of loss. Instead of asking, "Who are you going out with?" wear something more modest. Say, "I trust your choices. I don't need you to change, just be yourself." Instead of saying, "I don't like you talking to those guys," say, "I understand you're an attractive person. That makes me proud, not afraid." When you respond this way, young women won't just admire you, they'll feel deeply respected, and the feeling of respect is the bond that keeps them around. You might feel hurt, worried, or jealous, but you don't let it turn into destructive behavior. You choose to respond with clarity, and that peace is what makes you rare in this world. Am I loving the person or trying to possess them? Am I building a connection or using power to control? Am I being a support or a mental burden? When you answer these questions honestly, you'll step out of the shadow of jealousy and step into the light of the stoic man, the one women can't leave. If this section resonated with you, let me know. 4. Complaining and blaming the past. This is one of the most serious emotional turnoffs older men tend to fall into when dating younger women, especially when they've experienced heartbreak, divorce, or significant emotional loss. Why do older men often fall into this trap? The older you get, the more experiences you've had. But if you're not careful, those experiences become psychological burdens. You've been betrayed, so you carry that pain everywhere. You've sacrificed without recognition, so you feel life is unfair. You've loved deeply, so now you're skeptical about love. And you think that sharing this past will make women empathize with you and understand you better. In reality, it does the opposite. The more you share, the more you lose your attractiveness. Not because your past is sad, but because you're letting your past control your present. From a Stoic perspective, this is a lack of inner control. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Young women don't distance themselves from you because you failed in love. They distance themselves because you haven't learned from it yet. Do you keep talking about your ex-wife? You're still stuck. Do you say, "I don't trust anyone anymore"? You're broken and haven't healed yourself. Do you constantly compare the present to the past? You're living in a time that no longer exists. Imagine you're having dinner with a young woman. She asks you, "Have you ever loved someone deeply?" You start telling her, "Yeah, I sacrificed everything for my ex-wife. I did everything for her, and yet she cheated on me. I lost all trust in women after that. In that moment, you might think you're being sincere, but in her eyes, he still hasn't gotten over the past. He's carrying unhealed wounds. If I get close, will I be the next one to be blamed? And she gently pulls away, not because she doesn't care, but because of her self-defense instinct. How to change? Based on Stoicism. 1. Instead of complaining, tell the story of overcoming. Instead of saying I was betrayed, say, I went through a tough relationship, but that helped me understand what I need and appreciate what I have now. This statement is not only profound, but shows you've grown from the pain. Silence is also a way to share your strength. Marcus Aurelius teaches us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You don't need to tell her about the bad things your ex did. Just live calmly, without bitterness, without bad-mouthing, without complaining. That speaks volumes about your inner strength. Rewrite your life story, where you're the hero, not the victim. The hero falls sometimes, but they get up and continue with gratitude. The victim only looks back and asks, why me? Which role will you choose? A sentence you can use when the past comes up. I've been through some tough things, but I'm grateful because that taught me to live lighter, judge less, and appreciate the present more. This statement is both mature and reflective, and particularly hits home for young women seeking a man who is truly at peace inside. Complaining and blaming may get you attention for a moment, but it will drain your attractiveness in the long run. On the contrary, when you control your pain, when you don't need to complain, but still live with dignity, that's the pinnacle of masculinity in the eyes of women. 5. Not taking care of yourself, because this is one of the silent killers of attraction that many older men overlook, but women can clearly feel it. The problem isn't age, it's the energy of life. You can be 55, 60, even 65 years old. That doesn't make you less attractive. But if you're walking beside her and look like you're tired of life, as if you've given up, then she doesn't just see you as old, she sees you as extinguished. And young women are attracted to the flame, not its shadow. Real life example. 2 60-year-old men, worlds apart. The first man, salt and pepper hair, wearing a fitted shirt, clean shoes, calm demeanor. Bright eyes, straight posture, speaks less, but with certainty. He walks every morning, reads books every night, drinks water regularly, and always chooses a healthy lifestyle. He doesn't try to look young. He's full of life. The second man wears old, wrinkled clothes, a bulging belly, sighs often, walks slowly. He talks about the good old days, but the present seems dull. He's not bad looking, but he looks like he's given up. Same age, same experience. But the first man makes young women admire and want to be close to him. The second one, they feel sympathy for him, but aren't moved. Why do women react so strongly to this? Young women aren't looking for a second dad, nor do they need a sugar daddy. They're looking for a man, someone with depth, courage, and most importantly, someone who's still fully alive. When you don't take care of yourself, it sends the message that you've lost your motivation to live. You don't think you deserve the good things anymore. You've given up on yourself before the world did. And no one wants to love someone who's given up on their own life. Guidance for change, in the spirit of Stoicism. 1. Start with small things. As Epictetus teaches, don't despise the small things, for it's these small things that become big habits. Every morning, make your bed, brush your teeth, shave. Every week, walk for 3 sessions, do 15 minutes of light exercise. Every day, drink enough water, sleep on time, eat less sugar. Clothing doesn't need to be expensive, just neat, clean, and well-fitting. Women are extremely sensitive to stained shirts, wrinkled pants, body odor, messy hair, dirty shoes. Just caring for yourself with attention makes you stand out from 90% of men your age. Cultivate charisma from within. with strong inner strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The body may age, but the mind, will, and spirit are choices." Read one page of a book each day. Write a few lines in a journal. Keep calm when others are angry. These things build inner beauty, and you'll radiate attraction without saying a word. Young women don't need you to be 25 years old, but they need you to be authentic, clean, and deep. A man who knows how to take care of himself, from body to soul, is a man who doesn't need to chase, because he's the one people want to come back to. 6. Lack of life direction. This isn't just the key to maintaining attraction. It's the inner flame that makes older men vibrant, admirable, and irreplaceable in the eyes of young women. Many men, after age 45 to 50, fall into a state of just getting through the days. Their kids are grown. Their old marriage is over. Their job is stable, or they're retired. They think, now I'll just live like this. What's there to strive for? But it's exactly when they stop that they lose their attraction. Young women are drawn not just to who you are, but also to where you're going. They're not looking for a stale resting place. They're looking for a life journey full of energy that they want to share. Seneca wrote, "None of the winds are favorable if the ship does not have a direction." This isn't just a metaphor. It's a warning. A man without a destination will be pulled by emotions, circumstances, and age. But a man with direction, even the smallest goal, becomes alive, magnetic, and full of masculine energy. Real life situation. Comparing two men. Man A, no direction. 56 years old, divorced. Lives alone, occasionally drinks beer, watches TV. Meets a younger woman. He likes her, but when she asks, "What are you pursuing these days?" he just smiles. "I'm just going with the flow, girl." What does she feel? She feels sad, not because he's bad, but because she doesn't see a future full of light. Man B has life direction. 60 years old, also divorced, lives alone. But he practices yoga every morning, writes in his journal. He's learning piano, planning to go trekking next year. When the young woman asks, "What are you pursuing these days?" he says, "I'm practicing piano. It's late, but I want to play a song I heard when I was 20. What does she feel? Admiration. She's not just attracted, she feels inspired. Guidance for older men. You don't need big goals. What you need is a small but consistent inner flame. Here are a few suggestions. Write your memoir, share your life journey, lessons you've learned. Learn a new skill, drawing, photography, playing music, pottery. Teach the younger generation, but not to lecture. To inspire. Stay physically active. Run, do yoga, meditate. Become a mentor, volunteer, or community guide. Your life is shaped by what your mind focuses on. If you focus solely on keeping her, you'll lose yourself. But if you focus on reigniting the light inside you, you'll become the man she can't let go of. Brothers, young women don't pull away because you're older. They pull away because you've lost the spark that once attracted them. And Stoicism is the way to reignite that light from within. Live strong. Be quiet yet powerful. Be the man who doesn't need to chase, because you attract everything with your calm, certainty, and unreplaceable charisma. If you found value in this, please subscribe to my channel to join me on the journey to becoming the Stoic man, dignified and irresistible. Turn on notifications so you never miss a drop of timeless wisdom for love, life, and yourself.